Hey everyone, how's it going? My name's Cloud, and welcome to my personal VOD reviews of Locals. In this episode, we'll be taking a look at Game 3 of Week 5 of the OP11 Meta, where I played Green Yellow Yamato versus Red R Zoro. Here's the deck list that I played in this match, and if you haven't already done so, please go check out the Locals retro video I made that covers this deck list and my overall thoughts on how Locals went this week. Without further ado, let's hop into the game. Game number 3 for Week 5 of the OP11 Meta, I'm playing Green Yellow Yamato versus Red Zoro. This is one of those matchups where I actually find it quite surprising how difficult it is to play against a Zoro, and that's because Zoro is one of those aggro decks that's able to go really wide really quickly. Once they're able to establish a lot of characters on board and hit me multiple times, it burns through my hand quite often, or quite fast, since I have to give up counter, or they just start taking my life really quickly, so gotta be careful about that. On the other hand, my leader does have double attack, so I can go pretty aggressive against them as well, since I can burn through their life just as quickly, but I have to be pretty careful because I give them 2 cards every time I attack with double attack. And usually the strategy against Zoro is to kind of starve them out by not giving them life, focus on attacking the characters on board so that they don't have multiple attacks, and then in the later stages of the game, close it out. So, gotta keep that in mind, just be careful about my double attacks. Let's move on to the dice roll here. High roll as usual. I'm gonna be rolling a 3, it looks like. And my opponent rolls a 12. Okay, so they get to pick the order, or turn order. And they choose to go first, so it looks like I will be going second. Going second isn't too bad for me, just because I personally like going second with Yamato, but yeah, it's mainly because if I'm able to attack with the 9k with all 4 Dawn, it's usually really strong, so. Let's take a look at our opening hand. We've got a 5-cost Momonosuke, 4-cost Hiyori, 7-cost Hody Jones, 3-cost Ashura Doji, and 0-cost You're the One Who Should Disappear. Let's do our counter check. We've got a 1k right here, 1k, and 3k. So not too bad. Overall, we've got 5k counter total in hand. That's a decent amount. I'm not too happy that I don't have a 2k counter in hand, because Zoro is going to be typically attacking around the 5k to 6k range early on, so not having a 2k in hand means that I'm going to have some difficulty countering out of these 6k swings. I either have to give up multiple cards in hand, or I have to over counter, which kind of sucks. So that's pretty much it for counter though. Let's see how the other cards are looking. First glance, I'm actually really happy to see the Ashura Doji in hand. This is a great card, so actually let's take a look at it right now. If I can find it, there it is. Ashura Doji is a yellow 3-cost 3000 power slash character with 1k counter that says on play, if your leader has the Land of Wano type and your opponent has 3 or more life cards, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a base cost of 5 or less. So this card is good in this matchup for multiple reasons. Number 1, my opponent is a 5 life leader, which means that if I attack with my leader, double attack early on, they'll go down to 3 life, which means it's still in range for Ashura Doji, since his condition is your opponent has to have 3 or more life. So that's good, I can at least get 1 attack off. If I'm going into 4 life leader and I attack first, Ashura Doji loses a lot of value, so that's good. The other side of it is, in a matchup like this, where I know my opponent is going to be spamming out characters very quickly, Ashura Doji is a very cheap way for me to KO one of those characters, specifically anything that's base cost of 5 or less, while establishing my own character. So again, with this matchup, I'm going to be looking to try to control the board a little bit, because they will be having multiple swings and I don't want that to happen. So having the ability to KO something, establish a character that can even become a 5k attacker once I use like leader ability, for example, to attach 2 Dawn, really good for me to help swing the board back in my favor. So I'm really happy to see that. Otherwise, the rest of the cards are okay. Let's see if I decide to keep this hand or not. I don't see any searchers in hand, which kind of sucks, nor do I see my Izo banished, so that might be a reason to mulligan, and it looks like, yeah, I am going to go ahead and mulligan. My opponent decided to keep their hand, alright. It sucks losing that Ashura Doji though. I think that card is going to be really key in this matchup. One thing that Yamato struggles with is establishing characters early on, so having Ashura Doji kind of fulfill both roles of controlling my opponent's board and establishing a character is really nice. But who knows, maybe this mulligan's gonna, you know, be something bad for me later on. Let's take a look at our final opening hand here once I set up my life. And we're going to start off with a 4-cost Hiyori, 1-cost Blaze Slice, 3-cost Ashura Doji, 7-cost Hody Jones, and 1-cost Gum Gum Elephant Gatling. Let's do our counter check. We've got a 1k and a 1k. Yikes. Alright, that's not too good. We only have 2k counter total in hand. I know I have these 2 events here that technically give me more counter, but because they require Dawn, I usually don't count them early into the game because I don't really want to be using Dawn to counter that early, right? Maybe in the latest portions of the game, you can say that I actually have, let's see, this is +1, +3, so actually like 6k counter, which is nice to think about in the later stages of the game. But in an aggro matchup like this, every counter that I can use early on kind of counts here. But, you know, speaking of counters, this 1-cost Blaze Slice actually is pretty useful in this matchup. Let's take a look at it actually. Blaze Slice is a yellow 1-cost event that has main/counter and says up to one of your leader or character cards gains +1000 power during this turn. Then if your opponent has 2 or less life cards, rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. It also has a trigger that says rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. So the reason why this card is really good is because it gives me 1000 power for the entire turn, you know, plus 1k there. So against a opponent who likes to go 5k, 6k, being able to be like a 6k base is really nice. It means I can spend less counter. So with the 2 1k counters in hand, this card actually is pretty useful. So maybe I should count it towards my counter in hand at the beginning. Looking at the other cards in hand, I'm really happy that we still ended up getting the Ashura Doji. We've already talked about that, but that's nice. Unfortunately, we did not see our Yamato Searcher or our Banish. Both of those would have been really nice in the early stages of the game as well. So, might be a little rough in the early game, but we gotta make do. This bump to start the game, and we're off. My opponent is gonna go up to 1 Dawn, tap that 1 Dawn to play the Nami Searcher, searching top 5 for a Straw Hat Pirate. Looks like they kind of forgot to tap their Dawn there, but it's okay. Pass back to me. I draw for turn. It is the 2-cost 2k counter Hiyori. I go up to 2 Dawn. This is why I was hoping to have like an early game play, but since I don't have anything, we've just gotta pass the turn. And in this case, I guess my counter does come online, so. Alright, my opponent goes up to 3 Dawn, draw for turn. They're gonna tap 3 Dawn to play out Chopper, and this is the Chopper from OP08 that lets them look at the top 5 cards of their deck and play up to 1 animal type character with a power of 4000 or less. And they whiffed. Ooh, that's unfortunate. My opponent is gonna swing 5k at my life, which I gladly give up a 1k counter to get out of that. Going back to my turn. Draw for turn. It's another Ashura Doji, which is really nice to see. So you can see here, he's already kind of establishing ways to go wide. Gonna instantly just tap 3 to play Ashura Doji to get rid of that Chopper right away. I don't want him to be able to get more characters on board really when attacking. So it's good. And alright, I go 6k here. So this is a little risky. Let me pause real quick. This is a little risky because, like I said at the beginning of the game, I want to kind of starve my opponent from getting cards in hand, since they are going to be trying to just throw their whole hand out onto the board as quickly as possible. But I am in a slight dilemma where my leader needs my opponent to be at 3 or less life to be able to use leader ability, and activate some of the triggers that are in my deck. So I did a simple 6k swing here just to test the waters. You know, if he gives me a 2k, I guess that's fine. But if he takes the hit like he did here, I know that I have my leader ability active, I know I have my triggers online, and I can hopefully attack back. So now that my leader ability is online, I can attach the Tudon to the Ashura Doji, so plus 2k here, making him a 5k attacker, so that is pretty nice. But I think at this point, you don't want to go for any more swings because you don't want to give him cards in hand. I'm passing back to my opponent. They draw for turn and then go up to 5 Dawn. I'm pretty much ready for whatever he plays because I do have another Ashura Doji in hand. This is why it's really nice. My opponent still has 3 life, so it does stay active. Very good card. Alright, looks like my opponent's gonna attach maybe 1 Dawn to his leader and then play out the Zoro. 3-cost Zoro Rush. And he's gonna go 6k at my life. 6k is kind of a lot. I do have a 2k in hand. I know my opponent has a 6k swing with his leader still, possibly 7. So because I know he possibly has a 7k swing, I just go ahead and counter here, because I'll most likely take the leader hit, which is just a simple 6k to life. And it's, yeah, and I take it, and it's another Hiyori from life. Alright, pass back to me. I draw for turn. It's the 5-cost Momonosuke, and I go up to 6 Dawn. Momonosuke is pretty nice actually in this matchup because it's a blocker and I can heal 1, so it's good to see that. If I had a banish swing here, actually, maybe a banish swing wouldn't be too bad because that does send the cards to the trash from life, so... Trying to figure out what I'm going to do on my turn here. Definitely want to kill the Zoro. I don't really have to attack with Ashura Doji. I could just use leader to attack big at the Zoro. But it looks like what we're going to do instead is play or tap 3 to play out my second Ashura Doji to get rid of the Zoro right away. That's fine too. I established another character on board. And if we're sticking with the game plan here, I should not be attacking. I can leave the Dawn up, keep my counters active in hand. That would be pretty good. Oh no, okay. So we end up just going 7k to lead. Interesting. 7k double attack to lead. He taps 1 Dawn to play the Just Shut Up and Come With Us to search top 5 and play out, I think it's an animal. Let me just look up this card again. I always forget the specific effect. Sorry, I'm gonna pause. Yeah, 1-cost counter event. Look at 5 cards from the top of your deck and play up to 1 animal type character with a cost of 3 or less. Then place the rest at the bottom in any order. And he plays out the Chopper from, I think this is the EV02 one or EV01 Chopper. Yep, that's the blocker. So interesting. Okay. I gave him the opportunity to play out a character, and then he also gave me a 2k and a 1k there to get out of the attack. Let's see. Chopper. Yep. 2k and a 1k gets out of the attack. So at least I burned some cards from hand. That's not too bad either. I was scared of that the Chopper, I mean, if the Zoro player took it, he would have a lot of cards in hand. So, yeah. I think in my mind, the reason why I decided to go for the 7k swing right here is because if I can get him down to 1 life, then it's much easier for me to close out the game with like a Hody Jones. But that is still a very risky move. It wouldn't have been too bad for me to pass that turn. It means that he wouldn't have this character on board. And yeah, that's pretty much it. He wouldn't have the character on board. So I think looking at this again, I probably shouldn't have attacked there. But it worked out, I guess. Alright, pass back to my opponent. They're at 7 Dawn. They tapped 3 to play out the OP08 chopper to search top 5 again. Let's see what they find. They find a hiking bear. Comes in rested. Got 4 Dawn left. They're going to attach 1 to leader, giving all of his characters plus 1000 power. Gonna give his Nami 2 Dawn and go 5k at my life. So let's pause real quick. You can see right there in the front of my hand, I have the Blaze Slice. And I do have 1 Dawn active right here. So this turn wouldn't be too bad for me to actually use this because this is a 5k swing. Actually, I already have it marked right there. This is a 5k swing from Nami. His chopper is currently 5k, so it could be a 5k swing with chopper or a 6k because he still has 1 Dawn up. But then he also has Zoro, or his leader, which can be a 6k, maybe 7. If I play the Blaze Slice now, unfortunately I don't get the rest portion of it. My opponent has to be at 2 or less life. That's right. Okay, now that I'm talking about it, I think I was attacking with my leader to get them down to 1 life so that my Blaze Slice was online to be able to rest a character. I can see where I'm going now, so that was not bad actually. Sorry, a little side tangent there, but yeah, my Blaze Slice's second portion of the effect is not online, which would have been really good in this case. I could have rested, let's say, his blocker chopper, which would reduce 1 attack from him and remove the blocker, but since I can't do that, I at least still get the plus 1k. Right? I still get the 1k for the turn. It means that it's slightly easier for me to counter out of a 6k potentially with chopper and a 7k potentially, or sorry, 6k potentially with Zoro, depending on how he puts the Dawn. So, just talking about that now. Let's see what I end up doing. Let me just erase some of the green markings on the screen here. Or let's see what I end up doing. I end up taking it. Okay. And fortunately for me, it is the 4-cost Kinemon trigger. I can put the card up on screen, but it pretty much just lets me play it out if my opponent is at 3 or less and my leader is Land of Wano. So that's really nice. I established another character. And then my opponent goes 7k with lead. Fortunately, I do not have a 1k in hand. I could play the Gatling to go up to plus 3. But I'm kind of holding it just in case I do need to rest something. However, I don't think going down to 1 life right now is good. So yeah, I tap 1 Dawn to play out Gum Gum Elephant Gatling to go plus 3 to my leader and get out of this swing. Pass back to me. I draw for turn and then I go up to 8 Dawn. My draw for the turn is the 6-cost Momonosuke, which is a very nice card right now. My opponent has 1 blocker, no Dawn up. Still has, it looks like, 4 cards in hand. And it looks like we're gonna go ahead and play, oh, interesting. We're playing the Hody Jones. Okay, so I tap 7 to play Hody Jones, taking my top life, which was a Kinemon. That would have been a nice trigger to keep in hand. But I think it's because I'm trying to rest his board right now, knowing that he has no Dawn up, and I think I'm just gonna go at his board. So yep, we're gonna go 3k to the 2k. He lets that go. That was a 3k swing there. This is a little risky. I know I have to keep 1 Dawn up for the Blaze Slice at least. But we're gonna use leader ability, attach 2 of my rested Dawn to Ashura Doji, and we're gonna go 5k to the hiking bear. Getting rid of that. Then we're gonna go 5k to the blocker chopper. He gives up a 2k to save the blocker chopper. Got 3 cards left in hand. We go another 5k at the blocker chopper. With leader. He gives up another 2k to protect it. It's fine by me, going low on card size here. Really want to just try to get his board down as much as possible. I still have my Hody swing, and between the two targets here, I was going after the chopper because 5 to 4 means that he has to give up at least a 2k to get out of it. But now that I know that he's countered out of that, I'm just going to go big at the other chopper so that he can't recur the value of playing out characters. So, unfortunately, I couldn't get the blocker out, but hopefully it'll work out for me. And you can see that this was the game plan here. Control the board. He only has 2 attacks now. And with my leader ability, I can always get through his life just as quickly, right? He's only down to 3 cards in hand. And I think he just drew 1 for turn, so up to 4. I'm in an okay position. I still have the 1 Dawn for an event. Still got a 2k counter in hand. In fact, I think I have 2 2k counters in hand. So I'm not feeling in risk of losing this turn, because he has to spend Dawn to play out any character that has Rush, so... yeah, my opponent goes up to 9 Dawn. He's going to tap 3, and he's going to play out another blocker chopper. Okay. Unfortunate that I used my Hody so early. Another 2 Dawn, or 3 Dawn to play out the Alt-Art chopper from, I think, OP08, I want to say. Is this right? No, it's not. Which chopper is this? Oh, this is the EB02 chopper. Okay, sorry. Let's take a look at this chopper. I haven't seen this one in a while, or at all, really. Perfect. This chopper is a red 3 cost, 3k power slash character. No slash character. What is that symbol? Strike character with 1k power or counter, and it says, right, Dawn 2, opponent's turn, this character gains plus 2000 power. On play, if your leader has the Straw Hat crew type, give up to 1 rested Dawn card to your leader or one of your characters. And it looks like he gave the rested Dawn to his leader. So I'm gonna read that again. Dawn 2, opponent's turn. Okay, so on opponent's turn, it becomes a 5k. All right. So he should still have 3 Dawn left, since he spent 3 for the EB01 chopper, and then spent 3 for the EB02 chopper. What's the move here? He's only got 1 card left in hand. This is what I'd like to see in this matchup. He's got no resources now, or very low on resources. And I have a pretty wide board, so... He attached all his Dawn to his Zoro, so that's 9k. And I believe he's going 9k to the Hody Jones, which I give up a 2k counter for. Alright. Get out of that. Protect the Hody Jones is very important right now. Pass back to me. I refresh. Draw for turn. It is the 1 cost Yamato Searcher. Where were you in the beginning of the game? And now I'm at 10 Dawn. So I've got some options here. I could block her up. I have the 5 costs in hand, so I could play that down and then go up to 2 life. Like an interesting line here. Sorry, I'm gonna pause this real quick before I do anything. A very interesting line I could do is I tap 5 Dawn. So let's say I'm at 10 Dawn, going down to 5, so minus 5. I could play out Momonosuke, heal 1 card. Let's say I heal the Ashura Doji into life because it is a land of Wano. So let's say I do that. I could then use the 2 cost Hiyori in my hand, play that out, take the Ashura Doji back into hand, and then put, let's say, the Blaze Slice into my life. The Blaze Slice is a pretty good trigger. I can rest a 4 cost or less. And you can see that all of my opponent's cards are 3 costs, so it would work. And then now I would have another Ashura Doji in hand. So if I were to do that, I can play the Ashura Doji, KO one of his characters since he's still at 3 or life, and then just swing with the rest of my board. To be honest, I didn't think about that until now. So let's see what I end up doing, because I definitely didn't do that. But that's one line of play. Another line of play I could do is the 6 cost Momonosuke. Play that out. I am at 2 or less life, so my leader would gain plus 2k for the turn. I would now have a pretty sizable board, and I can just start poking away at my opponent's life now since he is at 1 card. That doesn't seem too bad either, because if I do pressure his life enough, he will have to use his blockers. So let's see what we do. Just talking about our options here, we can evaluate how, like, whatever actions I do afterwards. And looks like we're going to start with just a 5k to life, which he takes. Okay. That puts him down to 2 cards. My Blaze Slice is online. I can rest a 4 cost now. But knowing how I don't have a lot of counter in hand, I think it might be better to save it. With only 2 life, I probably should at least do a double attack swing now with my leader to get the value out. If I attack with my leader now and do double attack and he takes it, I have 3 attacks left to try to go for game. So he definitely has to counter out of my 5k swing here, or my leader swing here, not 5k. If I choose to attack with anything else, he can choose to just take the hit, and now my Yamato loses its double attack value, and I lost an attack. If you're playing Yamato, yeah, if your opponent's at 2 life, try to always, like, you know, go with leader swing first while leaving your characters up, just because that forces, you know, him to make a decision here. And there we go. We're gonna go 7k with leader, double attack, and he chooses to block. So that is 1 character off the board. Really nice for me. I'm gonna go ahead and attach 2 Dawn to my Ashura Doji. Maybe not. Okay. I'm trying to, I guess, figure out the numbers here. I could go like 7-7. You know, 4 Dawn on Ashura, 4 Dawn on Ashura, and then 8k with the Cody Jones. But we end up just going 5k, leaving our options open for Dawn. And he gives us the 2k counter out of that. That's really nice. So that means that he doesn't have any 1Ks in hand. So I go ahead and attack 8k with my Cody Jones, which is a very interesting number. And he chose to give me the blocker. I wonder why he didn't just take the hit. I guess he wanted to potentially live. But alright, I'm going to go ahead and play out, tap 5 down to play out the Momonosuke blocker and heal the Kinemon into life. This isn't too bad either. I've already attacked with Kinemon and he does have the trigger. So even if he hits me here, I can either choose to put a 2k back in hand, or I can trigger out another body, giving me 5 characters on board. So I'm in a pretty good position either way. Pass back to my opponent. They draw a card, going up to 2 cards in hand, and now they're at 10 Dawn. They've only got 1 character on board. So I'm in a very good position now. Looks like they're just going to distribute Dawn, and they're going to go 6k. Oh yeah, sorry. I was thinking about, I put the 2k power there because I thought his chopper gained power during his turn. It's actually during my turn. So I was asking him here. Just give us a second. I know that right here I was clarifying the Tony chopper with him. So right now, he's got a 6k attacker on board with the chopper, and his leader is at 6k. I don't know why he doesn't put the Dawn under his leader. This is a very misleading setup. Try to put your Dawn under your leaders, please. Or your characters, your cards. 3 cards in hand. He still has... Oh, sorry, 2 cards in hand, and he's got 7 Dawn left. And I have a blocker as well as 2 life, so there's no way I'm losing this turn, really. And this is where it hurts for Zoro. If you can starve them out while controlling the board, it's really tough for them to punch through any kind of defense. Let's see, weighing the options here. What's it gonna be? He's got no blockers on his board, so when it comes back to my turn, I am gonna be like going at him really hard with my double attack here to go for game. I still have the Rush Momonosuke in hand too, so... Alright, looks like they tap 4 Dawn to use Mole Pistol. That's gonna... Let's just pull it up here. Yep. So Gum Gum Mole Pistol is a red 4-cost event that says main, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 5,000 power during this turn. Then if you have a character with 6,000 power or more, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a power of 2,000 or less. And I think he chose the Momonosuke? Or... Mole Pistol, and who's he choosing here? Okay, so he goes minus 5,000 to my Momonosuke. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So then he chooses the KO the Momonosuke, because it is at 0 power and he can KO anything that's 2,000 power or less, and he does have a 6k power character on board. So, alright, there goes my Momonosuke, but that's still 4 Dawn from him. He only has 3 Dawn left to work with. And now I know that I am in a pretty safe position, because he'd have to play a Zoro down here if he wants to get another attack. But I have the counter in hand, especially the Blaze Slice. If he attacks, if he plays the Zoro or something, I can Blaze Slice, rest the character. So, no fear of losing here. And then yeah, that's where I realized the Chopper does not have plus 2k. So it's actually only a 6k power right now. And then he's just gonna go ahead and attach the remaining Dawn on his leader, and I think go another 9k at my Cody Jones, which I give up a 2k to protect again. Sorry, that's a 9. Then he goes 6 at the Ashura Doji. Ashura Doji has done his job, so I just let it go. Only 1 card in hand, and I still have double attack and 2 attackers here, and my Rush Momonosuke, so I'm feeling pretty good. I drew another Blaze Slice, which is very nice. Fortunately, I don't have a Banish here. If I had Banish, that'd be really good, but... Alright, here we go. We're gonna go 7k with my leader at their life, forcing them to take it, because at most they have 2k counter in hand. No triggers. They go up to 3. And now with only 3 cards in hand, and I still have 8 Dawn, I'm just gonna stack it all on Hody Jones and go 16k at my opponent's life. And they do not have it. GG's. Woo! Pretty clean game from me, I think. Played that really well. I think what really helped me was just seeing both Ashura Dojis. That card was probably the MVP of this match, so really nice there. Otherwise, I don't have too many other comments. But yeah, if you saw something that I could have done differently, or, you know, something I missed, please let me know in the comments below. I love hearing your guys' feedback so I can try to improve. Really like seeing the interaction. GG's to my opponent again, and I will see you guys in the next video. Until next time, remember, keep your minds fresh and your spirits free. See ya!